A year ago, this would have been impossible. A South Korean train crossing the border from the north. The South Korean experts on board have spent 18 days inspecting the Hermit Kingdom's railroad system, an extraordinary trip for the train driver who crossed the demilitarized zone.
Do I have to fill this in too?
No, just this.
I'm a little nervous today, but I'm also proud to be here. Honored.
It's the first time in 65 years that a South Korean train travels on the Donghae Railroad in North Korea. This campaign is a symbol of inter-Korean cooperation and is supposed to modernize the North Korean rail network, potentially to one day reconnect both countries. Officially, however, both Koreas are still at war and suspicion still runs high. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for explosives below the train.
I can't talk to you.
Peace on the Korean border is a work in progress. In November, the two Koreas each destroyed 10 guard posts out of the 220 on the demarcation line. The country's two armies have also started joint mine-clearing operations, and the world's most guarded border could become an economic and tourism hub. Imjinggak is the last village accessible to civilians from the south. This former soldier has been telling the story of this symbolic place for the past 50 years.
I was born over there in the demilitarized zone. You can't go there nowadays. In the future, this border needs to open up. The two Koreas have to reconcile and unify.
Reunification is the ultimate goal of this cooperation, a goal that's inscribed in South Korea's constitution. It's the sole mission of an entire ministry since 1969, with an annual budget of 850 million euros and 241 employees. One new feature is that since September, the two governments communicate 24/7 thanks to a liaison office in North Korea.
Thanks to the permanent liaison office in Kaesong, we're developing this cooperation. We want to take advantage of the North-South and North-US dialogues that started with the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang last year. Along with the international community, we want to get rid of any risk of nuclear warfare on the Korean peninsula, with complete denuclearization, lasting peace, and a future of shared prosperity. Thank you all.
But in spite of the official language, obstacles remain. As long as economic activity doesn't exist between the two Koreas, cooperation will be limited. This analyst has spent 20 years in Seoul and written several books on the conflict.
You've got one of the richest countries in the world across the border from one of the poorest countries in the world, so there should be a massive flow of aid and equipment. That's not happening for the simple reason: sanctions. South Korea is a member of the international community, is an ally of the states, and simply cannot unilaterally ignore sanctions. They have to play the game. So unless and until sanctions are eased or lifted or waived, there'll be no economic cooperation, there'll be no commerce.
After 65 years of separation, however, many South Koreans, especially the younger generation, no longer believe in reunification. In this institute, professors are trying to remind them of this objective.
In this center, you can understand the changes and benefits that unification will bring to our natural resources, our logistics, tourism, and culture.
Their methods can be innovative. For example, this video game where the player can race from Seoul to Pyongyang. But for these young South Koreans, there are many hurdles on that road.
It's important to understand that we are culturally different, but it's essential to realize that we have shared roots. This center allows young people to learn this in a fun and creative way.
The center's main attraction is this fake train. With these VR glasses on, the students can travel back in time. They can see the history of the Korean peninsula unroll before their eyes, with the final destination in reach, a unified Korea.
한반도 비핵화 노력의 대표적인 성과로 평가받고 있습니다.